Most of us are not knowledgeable enough about the conditions and correct processes of how Islamic marriages are contracted. We usually don't give too much attention to how the laws in Islamic marriages are being considered. Because of that, we are presenting to you the essentials of Islamic weddings. According to Wikipedia, in Islam, nikah is a contract between two people. Both the groom and the bride are to consent to the marriage of their own free wills. It is a formal, binding contract, verbal or on paper, is considered integral to a religiously valid Islamic marriage and outlines the rights and responsibilities of the groom and bride. In salamislam.com, Prophet Muhammad stated that, "Marriage is my way, Sunnah. Whoever turns away from it is not among my followers." He has also stated that there is no better structure founded in Islam other than marriage. There are 4 purposes of marriage in Islam: emotional needs, physical needs, social needs, and self-purification. Under Muslim law, marriage is purely a civil contract between husband and wife. After marriage, woman doesn't lose her individuality and her rights over her property and its alienation. She has her own individual rights and are not merged with her husband. Essentials of valid marriage in Islam: 1. Proposal and acceptance. 2. Competent parties. 3. No legal disability. There are 4 essentials of valid marriage under Muslim law. Number 1 is absolute incapacity. Under absolute incapacity, number 1 is consanguinity or korbat. Consanguinity means blood relationship like mother, grandmother, daughter, sister. Number 2, affinity, musharat. A man is prohibited from marrying his wife's mother or grandmother, his wife's daughter and granddaughter, wife of his father or grandfather, and wife of his son or son's son. And number 3, fosterage. A child under the age of 2 years suckled by a woman other than his mother becomes her foster child, and he as a man cannot marry his foster mother or sister, and etc. Number 2 is prohibitory incapacity. It arises in following cases. Number 1, polyandry. A woman has more than one husband. And number 2, Muslim woman marrying a non-Muslim. Number 3, relative incapacity. It is the prohibition which bars the marriage only for the duration it exists, and as soon as the causes of these prohibitions are removed, the marriage becomes valid. The following are the cases of relative incapacity: unlawful conjunction, marrying a 5th wife, absence of proper witnesses, differences of religion, woman undergoing idot. And number 4, directory incapacity. It arises from marrying a woman who is pregnant or enceinte. Then, prohibition of divorce. Another is marriage during pilgrimage. And the last is marriage with a sick man.
So there are several conditions for an Islamic marriage to take place. First is the mahar, or the so-called dowry. This is a gift by the groom to the party of the bride. And the next one is chastity, or this the uh, personal or the sexual mutual gift to the future husband or wife. So third is of course the groom and the bride through its contract. And the last one is where the ceremony will take place, as long as there's a imam and the contract to enter the marriage.
Muslim wedding ceremony with the requirements set forth in the family code. So comparing the Sharia law and the family code, these are the following difference between Muslim wedding ceremony and the requirements set forth in the family code. Number one, marriage in Muslim weddings allows bigamy or polygamy. However, in the family code, it is not valid. Number two, in a Muslim wedding, absolute divorce is actually allowed. However, in the family code, it does not allow it, or it is not valid. Number three, in a Muslim wedding, both males and females, at least 15 years of age or upwards, are already allowed to marry. However, in the family code, it explicitly says that both males and females must be in legal age, or which is 18 years old. Number four, in Muslim weddings, the solemnizing officer must be a proper wali or a protector, competent under Muslim law to solemnize marriage, judge of Shari's district court or circuit court. In the family code, it is actually different, and it is actually indicated in the Article 7 of the family code. Number 5, in Muslim weddings, both males and females must be Muslims. In the family code, it doesn't matter if what religion of the male or the female, as long as they are both capacitated to marry. And number 6, if there is actually a breach of contract in the marriage, any person who has entered the contract to marry but subsequently they refuse each other without reasonable ground to marry the other, who is willing to perform the same shall pay the latter's the expense incurred for the preparation of the marriage, and such damages as pay may be granted by the court. So in Muslim weddings, they need to pay if there is actually breach of contract. However, in the family code, it doesn't say that the other party or the other party must pay if there is actually a breach of contract in their marriage.
The Islamic wedding traditions. First will be the Salatul Ishtikhara. This is the pre-wedding ritual in which Imam performs a prayer to seek Allah's blessing for the marriage. And the second one would be the Imam Zamin. This follows the Salatul Ishtikhara. It involves a visit from the groom's mother to the bride's home. Third would be the Magni. This is, we all know the Magni is the engagement. Close friends and relatives come together to witness the ring exchanging ceremony. And also the Manja. Manja is the Muslim marriage equivalent of the Haldi ceremony. It takes place 2 days before the wedding. The bride and the groom wear yellow clothing in their respective homes and get smeared with a paste of turmeric and sandalwood and rose water. And the fifth tradition would be the Mehendi. Is a very important ritual in a Muslim wedding. The women of the bride's family and her female friends gather together. A professional or relative good at mehendi application draws beautiful and newest bridal mehendi designs on the bride's hands and feet. And the groom initials are hidden in the design, and he has to find it on the wedding night. And 6 would be the Sanshak. The male members of the groom's families visit the bride's family with the gifts, including the sweets and bridal outfit. And the seventh would be the baraat. This is the most exciting event of the wedding day. This is the entry of the baraat. The groom uses a beautiful decorated car to reach the wedding venue, and he is escorted by the relatives and mostly the male friends. A family member of the bride goes to escort him. It is splendid, loud procession, declaring that the wedding is going to happen in a few hours. Eighth would be the welcome. The bride's family receives the groom at the wedding venue. And the nikah. This is the actual wedding ceremony. This is the primary wedding ritual performed by the maulvi. The men sit around the groom and the women sit around the bride. And the bride's father is the wali of the bride. The groom's family offers her the mehr to seek her consent. The prayers from the Quran are recited by the maulvi. And the ijab ek wall. This is the most pivotal Muslim wedding ritual. The bride and the groom are kept separate from each other. This is followed by the nikah nama. This is official marriage contract where the duties of the groom and the bride as per the Quran are recited in presence of two witnesses from the bride's and groom's families. After the official marriage is signed, a khutbah is recited and followed by the marriage vows in the Quran. In the end, the elders perform durud or blessing on the new bride and groom. And the tenth tradition would be the RC Musharraf. The bride and the groom finally look at each other, that too through a mirror kept in between them. And also the rukhsat. This is the first post-wedding ritual. The bride waves goodbye to her family. And the 12 would be the walima. This is the public declaration that the marriage is already done, and this is basically the receptions party. So that is how the wedding of the Muslims has been commenced.
Standard marital vows of Muslim wedding ceremony. Usually in other religion, the bride and the groom will say the I do portion as their consent that they accept each other as a husband and wife. However, in Muslim wedding ceremony, the groom and the father of the bride will take the oath in front of imam. For example, translated from Arabic, father, I letting you marry my daughter as acceptance of your dowry. And the following groom will say this, I accept your daughter as my wife. So as you notice, dowry is one of the primary requisite to perform the wedding. So we have a dialaga in Muslim, which is the announcement of the engagement for the future groom and wife. So dialaga is the announcement after the agreement upon by both parties. So the both parties entered this contract, and after the both parties agreed, they need to announce their engagement and to set the date for their wedding. Another is the in Muslim wedding, consent is not usually in practice as a requirement because most of the Muslim marriage is arranged. So in addition of this, 15 years old or first menstrual of woman is allowed to enter marriage, and still no consent is needed due to arrange. So as you can see, no, there's a different variation from our family code comparing the Muslim code. So as we continue, so we have a mahar or dowry. Dowry is not written on the family code. However, the mahar will do. However, it is highlighted as a requirement in Article 15 of the Code of Muslim Personal Laws of the Philippines as essential requisite. So, as I mentioned, dowry is the prerequisite requirement or the required amount that the groom needed to settle or agreed by both parties to get into to enter into marriage. So entering the contract in the marriage, we also have the breach of contract. Is also not written in family code. However, it is also highlighted in Article 22 that the future groom who entered the contract or agreement of both parties and such reason the man breached the contract, the said dowry still need to fully settle. So as you can see, no, if the man not continue his love to the supposed future wife. However, the dowry still need to fully settle because this agreed upon by both parties. So in addition to the rights and obligation of family code comparing to Sharia law, Sharia law is a family code for the Muslim. No, it's actually the same, except the offer and acceptance requirement of Sharia law, being the vows of the supposed bride is in the hand of his father, is not against the law. So like I say, the I do part, no, the father will take the oath. It is not against the law of the Muslim. However, it is considered in Islam as consent of the parent of the bride. So no deviation from the law as a part of the Muslim wedding ceremony.